Shoot.
Hi, intern here. You ready?
Yes.
Okay. So you've been in business for 8 years, helping others build personal brands. Why haven't you built yourself your own until now?
So it is such a loaded question. And I think there's reasons for this that go beyond what I can discuss in this video. But I'd say for me, the top two are I feel that a personal brand has to be deeply rooted in real foundations. I think there have to be expertise, there has to be real experience, real things happening that actually justify what you're saying. And I felt as though I needed to do a lot more work within the business and even on the business to be comfortable enough to speak about what we do, extensively and publicly. And for me, that's been the biggest reason, like those foundations being in place so that our brand can actually be authentic. It can actually be based on real life examples, things that we're doing, things that we've done. When clients see our video online, they also need to nod their heads, knowing that we actually walk our talk, that we live what we're saying. For me, that's been the biggest thing. And to be honest, I haven't always felt that way, within the business. I think that, I don't want to go into too much detail, but I feel like over the years, we've had to find product market fits. I had to sort out things operationally. I had to actually really hone our expertise in a specific area, content marketing. I really wanted us to get a good hold of what we're doing there and actually have testimonials behind us for me to build an online brand. And so that's my main reason.
So, what was your turning point that made you realize you had to speak up and build your brand now?
Such a good question. What was the turning point? Um, I feel like I've tried to do this at certain junctures. My first place was LinkedIn. I actually put a LinkedIn post up probably 2 years ago, speaking about operational issues in the business that I had before and how I felt. I was, as a founder, I felt really bad about some of my previous hiring experiences, and I felt as though because I had so many failed hires that I wasn't a good founder. And I had to overcome those limitations because these are things that almost every entrepreneur goes through. But I remember putting that post up and really wanting to take people along the journey of Jedi. And then after that, things just got so busy internally that, I did not continue. And if I'm going to be completely honest, they've also been just a lot, even in my own life, that has probably prevented me from being as present as I could be. But for me, the biggest turning point is we're 8 years into the business. The work that we do with our clients is it's personal branding based. And let me actually call it thought leadership. We do thought leadership and content marketing. And I'm at that point where I feel like we're hypocrites because we're telling clients to do something that we're not doing ourselves. And so I think I've always known it's just making time for it, just ensuring that there's actually room and space in the business to do it. I hope that answers your question.
It does. What do you think is missing in the current conversation around personal branding?
Oh, this is a good question. So, what's missing in the conversation around personal branding is the importance of alignment and congruency. The fact that your personal brand online needs to be a mirror for what it is that you do offline. And so I have seen so many examples of people who are great marketers, great speakers, very charismatic, but a lot of it is smokes and mirrors. There's people running podcasts on things that they actually know nothing about. And for me, that's the missing part. I feel as though what we need to include in the conversation about personal branding is that, are you a practitioner in this thing? Do you have a track record with regards to what you're speaking about? And does your audience have a good understanding of whether you're someone who's exploring, or are you coming to people as an expert when you're just getting information from books and seminars. So for me, that's the biggest part. I just feel as though that alignment is important. Basing personal brand off of actual lived experience, and not just a concept that you have or an image that you want to create for yourself. Does that make sense? Okay.
Makes good sense.
And
And
feel free to ask follow-up questions.
no, this is just more like a comment
Yeah.
where you're basically saying it's more important to show up more in person than you do online. Like, yes, your online presence is
Absolutely.
important.
Absolutely.
Especially that's in today's world, that's the way how you market yourself as a business person is online.
Absolutely.
But what you're posting online has to match what you're doing in person.
Absolutely.
Because you can't be saying, I'm patient with my clients, I do this and this and that for my clients. That time you could be the most rudest person, and clients have the worst experience with you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So basically, the foundation is offline, then bring it online.
Yes. And it makes it so much easier because you're not coming up with a narrative. You're just speaking about what you do and what you've done.
Because it comes naturally
It
to
comes
this what
so
you do.
naturally. Exactly.
Okay. All right. So what's the danger of building a shiny personal brand that doesn't match the real experience?
People will figure you out after some time. I always say that your personal brand can get people through the door, but it won't keep them in. And for me, that's the danger. It really is the danger. Like, even though we, or I haven't had a strong personal brand online, but I've built a sustainable business that's been around for 8 years, right? And I think, had I just focused on personal brand without actually focusing on the everyday, day-to-day needs of the business, we would be out of business. And that's the danger.
So instead of building an online brand, what did you focus on behind the scenes in the past 8 years?
Wow, that really requires me to go deep into detail. So the first thing I focused on were client results. Actually, before even client results, the first thing has been finding product market fit. So early on in the business, I had a huge issue with the fact that our services were broad, like way too broad. At some point, we were even doing websites in-house. We were doing brochures for clients. We were doing overall, marketing strategy, which is so much more than just, personal branding and online. And I felt as though we couldn't even define exactly what we do as a business. And I felt that, like, our clients didn't have that clarity. It got to the point where I felt as though we were employees in our client's business, because anything related to marketing, they'd come to us, and it wasn't a scalable business model. And it just felt like the business was not, like, I felt like we were building on sand, And so I had to actually focus on getting clear about what we do, what we're actually the best at, what can we do better than any other marketing business. And people always speak about product market fit, but it takes such a while sometimes to actually find that product market fit. And I had to do that. I had to start by scaling down our service offering, looking at what can we actually be the best at, what are we actually really passionate about doing. And it was a long process. It was hard. There were difficult conversations with team members I had to have, difficult conversations with clients that I had to have, and refining, testing. So if I can give a very practical example, I had to tell clients specifically, please only come to us with marketing work that's to do with content and social media. Anything else we don't do. And it was hard because, there's financial implications to doing that. But, that was the one thing I had to focus on. And what actually inspired this was a book that I read called Build to Sell, which spoke about building a strong business. You almost have to have a service offering that can be productized, right? Something that you can form a system behind and know how to deliver it and be known for delivering that. And it took a very long time, but I have landed on content marketing and thought leadership because that's something I'm personally passionate about. And that's something that I think we're really good at. And I think we have a track record. So that was the one thing. Product market fit. It was also just learning to be a better CEO in my business. So I am very vision oriented and I focus a lot on the big picture, but especially being a solo founder, there's so many operational things that required my attention. So, I've had to learn to build better systems in the business, which is still a work in progress. I have had to just, get a good hiring process in place, which is also still a work in process, a work in progress, but, a lot better than I was at a couple of years back. And get better at managing our finances and budgeting. So all of these nitty-gritties in the business had to be taken care of. So that's what was number two. Number one was, product market fit. Number two was systems within the business. And number three is client results. So really working closely with clients to ensure that we are positioning them as thought leaders. We are helping them present themselves as the authorities that they are in their space. So yeah, just really working on having testimonials and results behind the work that we do. And those have been the top three things.
You mentioned Build to Sell was a game changer. How did that book influence your clarity?
How did it influence my character?
Clarity.
My clarity?
Yes.
So, Build to Sell. Oh, it's such a good book. Please, can you get it? I want to show the people.
Build to Sell. What color is it?
It's on the far left. This book, I probably read it at the end of 2022. Can you see? This is how did the influencers do it? It says here, creating a business that can thrive without you. What I learned from this book, he tells a story of a business owner, actually an agency owner, who is doing so many things, being an employee to his business, burned out, just struggling, really struggling to juggle all of these balls, right? And what he had to do was get specific about what they can be the best at and look at trying to productize his service offering. And for me, that was such a big aha moment because that is exactly what I had been doing in Jedi for years. Any solution that had to do with marketing that clients needed, we would provide it. Instead of collaborating with people who are experts in those particular fields, we would try and learn the skills and we would try to execute it. And so this book made me realize that that is a very inefficient way to run a business. And it made me clear about finding what is our one thing, what can we do better than anyone else, and what will drive our economic engine. What I didn't know, though, was how long it would take to actually get to that clarity. And I feel as though we only really found this clarity maybe even less than a year ago. But at the point that I'm at now, I'm more confident than ever in our specialty and what we do, which is content and thought leadership marketing for growing businesses.
What would you say are the true foundations of a strong personal brand or business brand?
Caring. I think that anyone who wants to build a brand, it's not about you, it's about the people you are speaking to. Actually care about them, actually care about how does your message help them fulfill their goals. So I really think you truly have to care. It's not about you, it's not about your own fame, in a sense. Secondly, consistency. Who you are offline must be who you are online. Number three, experience. Be able to back up what you say and have other people, able to back up their experience of you. And top of mind, those are the three.
Now that you've built the offline brand, why is building a personal brand a priority?
I really feel as though we're limiting ourselves from business opportunities by not doing so. I feel as though one of my greatest strengths is thought leadership, is content, is speaking. So I really think I've been sleeping on the one thing that could be Jedi's competitive advantage. That's the biggest one for me. So the second reason is that, you know, by remaining quiet, people who actually really need you and need your services, they don't know about you. And for me, that's criminal. Like, I want the people who can be benefited by what we do, I want them to find us and I want to help them. I want to serve them. I don't want our expertise to just be limited to a few. I want to help as many people as possible. Even if some people won't become clients, but through what they find, online, in terms of this brand that we're building, I want them to benefit from it. Like, I am burning with so many insights from everything that we've done over the years that I want to share. And for me, those are my main motivations. Yeah.
What would you say to someone who wants to build a personal brand but feels like they're not ready?
It would depend on why they feel not ready. I think that so what I found with our clients is all of them have a long track record in the work that they do. They're doing this every day. They're in the trenches every single day. And so if they have to tell me they're not ready, what they're missing is a team to assist them, right? And they're missing us. That's why they feel not ready, because they might be shy to speak on camera. Maybe they might feel as though they don't have the time. And there's ways that those things can happen, even if you have to get outside help, right? Even if you have to get experts like us to come in and help you do that. So for those people, they need the extra hands to assist them and people to just guide them in refining their messaging. So for those guys, you are ready. You just need the right people to help you. And then people who may feel ready because they feel as though perhaps they don't have enough to say, I don't think that you should wait to be perfect in order to build a brand. Like, I even feel like we've waited too long, to be completely honest. I feel as though we could have still taken people on this journey with us, right? If it's something I had really prioritized. But just be real about where you're at. Be real about the fact that you're still exploring a certain subject matter. Just be real with where you are on your journey and don't try and pose as something that you're not yet, right? Because it's easy for people to smile in authenticity. And if they don't smile it, they'll experience it, the moment they work with you. So I hope that answers the question.
It does. It even reminds me of a quote I heard on social media where someone said, when it comes to anything, whether it's like starting a business or doing a goal that you've set and you're not sure where to start or even know anywhere just to go, whether you've started and you're just confused on what's the next step, or you're still in the beginning and not sure how to even do this in the first place. Someone said, start first and figure it out later. The whole point is just to start.
The whole point is just to start.
Yeah.
The whole point is just to start. And I'm so glad you mentioned that, because it's also don't overthink it. And I'm here, speaking about branding, thought leadership, but I find it hard. I mean, we've been here for over an hour and we've stopped and started so many times. So even I myself am so nervous, but we just have to do it. This is not going to be perfect. We'll refine it as we go along, but just starting.
Yeah, just to start.
So I hope if you on the other side of this camera feel as though it's your time to, get your insights out there as a founder, know that it's hard. Even I, as a marketer who does this for clients all the time, I even find it hard. I was actually just saying to my intern now that my clients are so brave. How do they do this so effortlessly?
All right. And the final question, what's the main takeaway you want people to leave with after watching this video?
Do it for the right reasons. Don't brand yourself for the sake of it. I think be clear about the audience that you're speaking to. That is actually so important. Know who you're speaking to, ensure that it's the people who stand to benefit the most from what you're saying, and just put them at the center of it and don't make it about you. Yeah, that's the biggest takeaway.
Also, like, just to add on, especially for people who want to go into content creation and just digital marketing.
Founders, though.
Yes, for founders though, we always forget our why. Like, we can be so busy with tons of work and everything. Sometimes, like, we feel like, okay, it's done, let's just hand it over. No, you started this thing for a reason.
Absolutely.
And just to remember that why is very important.
But yeah, that's it. And this is us. This is Jedi. We are on LinkedIn. We are on Instagram. We are also on TikTok. It's just, I don't think TikTok's our focus, but do find us on LinkedIn, find us on Instagram. We've started creating content. We have a series called The Content Glow Up. It's really fun. I think our audience is loving it. So join us, and I look forward to journeying with you.